let me tell you what will happen to the effect of the drugs in G6PD deficiency patients. So G6PD, it stands for glucose, right? It stands for glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency. Alright, glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency. So that is G6PD deficiency. Now, let me tell you a very important point here. We have a group of drugs which are called as the oxidant drugs, right? The oxidant drugs may produce hemolysis in patients with deficiency of this enzyme, right? So what I want to tell you here is we have a group of drugs which are called as the oxidant drugs, alright? And this particular oxidant drugs, they may produce hemolysis. Alright, they may produce hemolysis in the patients with the deficiency of this enzyme. They may produce hemolysis. Right, they may produce hemolysis in patients with deficiency of glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme. Now, you should know what are those oxidant drugs which will produce hemolysis in G6PD deficiency patients. The important drugs, right, the important drugs, they include primaquine, right, which is an anti-malarial drug. And apart from this, like we have another important anti-malarial drug, that is chloroquine. Alright, primaquine and as well as chloroquine. And the other antibiotics like sulfonamides, right, sulfonamides including dapsone, right, sulfonamides including dapsone. And we have another important antibiotics like nitrofurantoin. This nitrofurantoin, remember, this is the antibiotic which is used in the treatment of urinary tract infection. And we have other drugs like isoniazid. Isoniazid, remember, this is a first line anti-tubercular drug. And the other drugs include quinine, which is also an anti-malarial drug. And next we have nalidixic acid. Nalidixic acid, it is a first generation quinolones. Okay, so nalidixic acid, which is also an antibiotic, right, which is also an antibiotic. And apart from this, we have one more drug, that is menadione, right, the other important drug, that is menadione. So remember, these are the drugs which will produce hemolysis in patients with G6PD deficiency. Now, let me take up another important effect due to different genetic polymorphism. The third one is atypical pseudocholinesterase and succinylcholine. I'll tell you what does this mean. So, presence of atypical pseudocholinesterase, right, presence of atypical pseudocholinesterase and the presence of succinylcholine, right, the presence of the succinylcholine. Now, what is this? Let me discuss. Remember, we have a skeletal muscle relaxant which is called as succinylcholine. And this particular succinylcholine, remember, this is a very short acting drug. Right, this succinylcholine, it is a very short acting drug. And why is this particular very short acting drug? Due to metabolism by pseudocholinesterase. Right, due to metabolism by 𝗠𝐶𝐿-esterase. Alright, so due to metabolism by 𝗠𝐶𝐿-esterase, this particular succinylcholine, it is very short acting. And a point what you need to remember is, in some individuals, this particular enzyme 𝗠𝐶𝐿-esterase is absent or it is not functioning well, and that is called as atypical 𝗠𝐶𝐿-esterase. Right? So in some individuals, you have what is called as atypical 𝗠𝐶𝐿-esterase. Right, you have what is called as atypical 𝗠𝐶𝐿-esterase. And what is this atypical 𝗠𝐶𝐿-esterase? The 𝗠𝐶𝐿-esterase which is not functioning well. Right, it is a 𝗠𝐶𝐿-esterase which is not functioning well. That is called as atypical 𝗠𝐶𝐿-esterase. Now when the 𝗠𝐶𝐿-esterase is not functioning well, what will happen is, in that group of individuals, the succinylcholine is not metabolized. Right, in those individuals where the 𝗠𝐶𝐿-esterase is not functioning well, in that particular group of individuals, the succinylcholine does not get metabolized. In such individuals where the succinylcholine is not being metabolized, in such individuals, this succinylcholine may produce a prolonged apnea. Right? So in these individuals, the succinylcholine will produce a prolonged apnea. Now, what do you mean by this word apnea? Apnea is nothing but the cessation of respiration, that is stoppage of respiration at the level of inspiration is called as the prolonged apnea. Right? The word apnea tells you that the individual respiration is stopped at the level of inspiration. That is called as apnea. So if the succinylcholine is not being metabolized, the succinylcholine will cause prolonged skeletal muscle relaxation. Succinylcholine will cause prolonged skeletal muscle relaxation. That is, it will cause the skeletal muscle relaxation of your respiratory muscles also, and thereby the individual cannot do a proper respiration. Alright, so that is your presence of atypical 𝗠𝐶𝐿-esterase and succinylcholine. Next, another important genetic polymorphism is, now you take Phenytoin. Phenytoin is an anti-epileptic drug. Phenytoin, it has to be metabolized by the process of hydroxylation, and there are a group of individuals where they have inability to hydroxylate the phenytoin. Okay, so right, inability to hydroxylate inability to hydroxylate phenytoin. So that is other different genetic polymorphism. Now we have another group of drugs which are anticoagulants. Right, what are those anticoagulants? Coumarin anticoagulants. Right, they are oral anticoagulants. A certain group of individuals, they have resistance to Coumarin anticoagulants. Okay, so resistance to Coumarin anticoagulants. Alright, resistance to the Coumarin anticoagulants. So remember, this Coumarin group of drugs, they produce anticoagulation in certain group of individuals, and because of different genetic polymorphism, this particular Coumarin anticoagulants may not show any anticoagulation effect in other group of individuals, and that is what is called as resistance to Coumarin anticoagulants. Next, now we have a drug called as halothane, right, which is a anesthetic drug. Right, it is a general anesthetic drug. This particular halothane, because of different genetic polymorphism in certain group of individuals, it will produce what is called as malignant hyperthermia. Right, it will produce what is called as malignant hyperthermia. So these are some of the examples which show different effects in different group of individuals due to different genetic polymorphisms. Okay, one of the example is acetylation. The second example is G6PD deficiency. Third, presence of atypical pseudocholinesterase and succinylcholine. Fourth, inability to hydroxylase phenytoin. Fifth, resistance to Coumarin anticoagulation. And the sixth one is the halothane producing malignant hyperthermia in certain group of individuals. So remember a point here, because of different genetic makeup, there will be different effect of the same drugs in different group of individuals. That is what is called as the pharmacogenetics.